So far, we have brought you episodes on songs to inspire your studio, for pride, for male contemporary musical theatre singers, for child singers, and for pop styling, all to help fill up your repertoire toolbox. I'd say it's time for another, wouldn't you? So here it is, 10 low belt songs for female singers. Today we are focusing on material that sits roughly between that A4 to D5 mid-range for the female singer. But firstly, why might we want some of these songs in our back pocket? Well, much to popular thought maybe, the higher the belt doesn't necessarily mean the more impressive. Yes, voices that can share a perceived intensity into that second passaggio can be absolutely first class. But so can a lower pitched belt that is offered with some character influence or dramatic flair. Before belting up towards those F5s and G5s, singers will likely benefit from establishing a feeling and a strategy for belt lower down. As Amanda Flynn says, one pitch is going to feel quite different from the one above it or below it. So we're doing the grounding work so that singers can then strategize their navigation for belt as pitch ascends. Perhaps we're working with singers who don't yet have a flexible, fully developed or dynamic head voice, but who really enjoy belting, or who might need to demonstrate a type of belt for, say, a drama school audition or a performance. Instead of telling them no or putting them off completely, we can offer some songs which do ask for this quality, but within a much more accessible and realistic way. Some singers actually find belting across this mid-range far more challenging than belting higher because of where the transition sits. Using songs that ask this of them might actually help them to focus them a bit more here. So what songs can be helpful? Let's hit the list. I'm kicking off with 3 songs from the Standard Broadway canon. Standard Broadway generally refers to a body of repertoire written during the mid-20th century, roughly around the 1940s to the mid-1960s, but give or take a bit of an extension in both directions. This was when music was predominantly being written for non-amplified performance. It tends to be quite speech-like and asks for a chest or chest mix dominant sound. And it's particularly a good genre for our targeted topic today because the belt traditionally sits lower in the range for females, not often moving past around a D5 and takes on more of that cool quality. We'll often hear this being referred to as traditional belt. So song number 1 is Funny Honey from Chicago. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Alexa, you're absolutely bonkers. You just said this was up to the mid-1960s and Chicago was written in 1975 by the wonderful duo of Kanda and Ebb. How can this possibly be classed as Standard Broadway then? Well, you're not wrong about the date. However, both writers were born in the 1920s and their writing is steeped and influenced by this traditional Tin Pan Alley music of the time. The show itself is based on Maureen Dallas Watkins's play, which followed Chicago's media fascination with women who had been accused of murder in the 1920s. In Funny Honey, the character Roxy Hart sings lovingly about her wonderful husband Amos, who is taking the blame for the murder of her lover, Fred Casely. As the song unfolds, Amos starts to realise he's being deceived, and the tone shifts sharply from sultry admiration to biting sarcasm. Most of the song is relatively reserved until Roxy starts singing of her husband's stupidity, where the intensity increases. For this reason, it asks the singer to briefly touch the pedal to the floor with this low belt sound, which sits around an A4. Song number 2 is Shy from the 1959 musical by Mary Rodgers and Marshall Barer called Once Upon a Mattress. Here the singer is asked to hang around a little bit longer at the A4, kind of B flat 4 area a little bit longer and perform octave jumps. This is a great character song, as even though the protagonist, Princess Winifred, is singing about her bashfulness, she's actually rather bold. Song number 3 is Johnny One Note from the 1937 musical Babes in Arms by Rodgers and Hart. This is a fun, up-tempo number sung by the character Baby Rose, It's quite wordy, so it's also really great for diction and articulation. The vocal range is about an octave, sitting around at B-flat 3 to B-flat 4. And regarding the belt, there are two challenges here. One is the B-flat 4, which is sustained both in the beginning of the song for around 3 and a bit bars, and again at the end where the B-flat 4 is hit for the best part of 6 bars, which is a good opportunity for singers to experience how to set up this air muscle balance in belt and to start introducing more sustained belt passages rather than quick little visitations. The second challenge could be the passages where the singer is asked to slowly ascend across almost like a 5-tone scale, each time increasing the interval between the pitches. Like this. This could be a really good opportunity for singers to learn how to ascend with connection to a thicker quality, but without unhelpfully dragging up muscle or becoming strained out like a tea bag. This next one still sits firmly within the musical theatre bracket, but it's a great example of a pastiche of this standard Broadway style we've been exploring so far. So song number 4 comes from the musical Thoroughly Modern Millie, written by Janine Tesori and Dick Scanlon. The song, Not for the Life of Me, is sung by the show's protagonist, Millie, full of determination and optimism. As the music transitions from a free pace into something more energetic, the requirements of the singer also follow. The vocal range is from about A-flat 3 to C5, and the belt is around that top end. Towards the end of the song, there is an ascending slide on an open vowel, which happens when we sing the word dead, and we glide up to that C5. And then we end on a strong sustained note, which is more a closed vowel that happens around the A-flat 4, on the word me. Another great tip for selecting songs for low belt for those female singers is to explore the catalogue of tenor-like material or biologically male singers who tend to sing higher up in their range. Song number 5 is I'm Not the Only One by Sam Smith. Sam has featured in our lists before, and their song I'm Not the Only One could sit really well in a female voice looking for a low belt. The vocal range is approximately F3 to C5 with a lot of hangabout around the A4 in the chorus. Where Sam might be choosing to transition into more of a head voice or head dominant mix for expressive or stylistic or even technical reasons, a female singer could maybe instead explore maintaining a bit of belt or a thicker sound in these sections.
Hello, and thank you so much for listening to the Singing Teachers Talk podcast. I hope you learn as much as I do every time you listen to an episode. To make sure that you don't miss out on any future episodes, make sure you subscribe, and it would be wonderful if we could get a review from you to make sure that we can keep this podcast going. My name is Lynn Hilton, and I'm the founder and one of the trainers here at BAST Training. And our goal is to help singing teachers and singers become singing teachers in a way that we didn't have when we first set out. So if you're interested in doing some training or learning more about what it means to become a singing teacher, why not book a call with me and I can talk you through our various trainings and opportunities that we have here at BAST Training. In the meantime, we have free resources for you, so head down to the description and you'll find a link where you can download our free guide to how to assess the singer's voice. I look forward to seeing you somewhere in the BAST community. Time to get back to the podcast.
Adore You by Harry Styles is another great option for exploring this low to mid-range belt for females. And what makes this song particularly useful is many of the higher intensity phrases actually start already on that strong top note. So the song immediately comes in at the top of chest voice around the G4, where we have Walk in your rainbow paradise. Starting on that G4 means that maybe we have a good experience of not shoving things up to it, not getting too thick, allowing a nice, stable larynx. And then the chorus offers us a similar thing. We're going straight in on maybe those B-flat 4 areas, which is actually followed by some really nice releasey head voicey bits, which, if we're singing them, might actually help us set up that beltier quality on the B flat 4s with a bit more release themselves. A song with a really haunting groove is Crazy by Gnarls Barkley. And yes, I know we said we're done with musical theatre, but I can't possibly mention this without giving nod to the version in the Moulin Rouge musical. The jukebox version is a mashup with Adele's Rolling in the Deep, and so the arrangements are a little bit different, but we could be influenced by the dramatic impact of this version, for example. The original pop number has a little bit more tempo behind it, and the belt in the chorus ascends to the C5, and it's a great option also if you love a little bit of stylistic spice, particularly with riffing. This is the moment that we can be a little bit nostalgic and throw it back to some absolute corkers that stand the test of time. Who did it better than the 80s and 90s pop rockers? Back in the day, song number 8 used to be one of my favourite pop rocks to sing. It's got this melancholic and reflective verse, a really rocky chorus, low notes in the bridge, stylistic yodel flips, and opportunities for higher range exploration too. And it's Ironic by Alanis Morissette. The belt in the chorus is around a B4, but it can be really impactful because of the other parts that sandwich it. Who doesn't love getting on the karaoke machine and belting out a little bit of Don't Speak by No Doubt? It's emotional, powerful, and surprisingly satisfying. I pulled out some of my old singer anthologies the other day and it came up on the list there, and so I was reminded of such a banger. These days, it could also fit into a singer's jukebox musical category, as it now features in the Cruel Intentions musical, which, by the way, that film is seriously effed up, but brilliant. And to conclude our list is a song with such a sexy, bluesy introduction that makes you want to strut down a dusty highway wearing a pair of cowboy boots and a guitar case on your back. It's Black Velvet by Alana Miles. This song was written as like a tribute to Elvis Presley, and its smoky groove and storytelling lyrics make it a really great fit for exploring lower belt and sustained power without the need to push. The verses allow for more of that intimate quality. Mississippi in the middle of a dry spell, with most of the chorus centering around the B4 area, right in that low to mid belt range. And then the chorus opens up onto one of those signature gritty belts. And that's it for our list. From the classic Standard Broadway sound to rocking out in the 80s and 90s. We have explored some fantastic songs to help your singers celebrate that gorgeous low belt space. But of course, this is just the beginning of a list, really. I'd love to know your ideas. What songs do you love for developing this part of a singer's range? Maybe you've got a hidden gem that you use in your own teaching from maybe a past audition or a piece that always seems to get great results. You can message us on our social media accounts or drop a comment in the box below if you're watching on YouTube. Hi! We want to know your favourites, mainly so that I can steal them and use them for my own selfish means. That's it from me. Until next time.